What's going on, Steelers Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Texas Steel Podcast. I'm Pierce Trexler, joined always by my boy, Drake Greenstein. About to give into this recap as we get ready to prepare for Chargers coming into town, man. Obviously, it's going to be a good, hard-fought battle, but what do you got going into this preview?
Home opener, baby.
Let's go.
The city
Heinz
gonna be
electric. Heinz gonna be electric.
The city gonna be rocking, baby. The tailgates are gonna be tailgating.
Tailgating early. We got that noon kickoff. People gonna be blackout by 7 a.m. So keep an eye out for it.
That's honestly my favorite game. 1 p.m. slot, bro.
Oh, yeah.
It just makes you feel at home.
Get back from church.
Yeah,
get
you
ready
leave
to slip
church.
right in. Maybe
Yep.
get a bite, and then Steelers football. So,
exactly.
Obviously, I'd like to think that out of all the first couple of games that we had, Atlanta and Denver, that being, although Atlanta coming to life again in that little 30-second drill against the Eagles, getting
Add
it done.
some credibility
So
to that win.
definitely makes the win feel a little better. But obviously, I think going into this Chargers team, it looks like they're going to be the hardest opponent thus far in the season. But thankfully, we got this one at the crib, as mentioned earlier. What do you think? Obviously, I think we're favored in this game by a couple of points, but any key matchups or things that you want to get into?
Yeah, I mean the first talking points is just for those who don't know. I mean San Diego, LA is undefeated. So I mean two undefeated
2-0
teams.
versus 2-0.
We got. I mean we're starting to garner a little bit of attention because we got Tony Romo and Jim Nantz on the call.
Should be a good one.
So we're going to be the marquee matchup in the afternoon. But honestly, you made a really good point after when we were just talking off camera. You said we are them and they are us, and quite honestly, bro, that's a pretty good like analysis of when you look at the teams, just from like a outside looking in. Both teams that like are coached very similarly. Relies on defense, wants to like win in the trenches,
ground
be
and
like
pound.
Yeah, tough nosed football teams that are like run first, like control the tempo of the game. Like we control the terms
on the
of
clock.
Yeah. We
turnover battle.
Exactly. We determine exactly how the game will flow by like our physicality and our defense controlling the game. So, and I mean honestly, two very similar matchups. So going into this game, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is one team is going to impose their will early on, which will have to the other team. Like for the Steelers, like the one thing I've been looking to see is we've jumped ahead in both games.
Yep.
So let's say they kind of go through the air. We fall down like 13-0.
We're going to be able to play comeback ball?
Yeah, can we play comeback ball? Because I know that's not what Arthur Smith and this offense wants to do with Justin Fields. So that'll be the first thing I'm looking for in this game is like who goes off script first. Because right now, both of our games have gone exactly how we expect
Relatively
them to.
conservative on the play calling, just doing enough to win, but not like crossing into that next threshold of really pounding on a team, which I feel like, again, if some of these penalties didn't go against us, I mean, the scoreboard would be a little bit different. But going kind of on top of what you're building, the Chargers have been scoring points this season. Relatively across the board, it's kind of been a lower scoring league thus far. But the Chargers, I think, what did they put up? 26 last week. I want to say over 20 before or something. So
they've been in the low 20s both these games.
But
mid to low.
But again, their opponents were under par, at least when you stack defenses.
Carolina, Las Vegas.
And Vegas.
Yeah.
So obviously Vegas are nothing to take advantage of, but the Panthers, I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm not too worried. I definitely think from their perspective, looking at us, they think they're getting their first real test of the season.
And that's another similarity.
Continue, or if I can continue
Yeah,
on that point. The Raiders,
go.
I mean, obviously we don't think they're no slump team. Obviously Max Crosby, they got some guys
But they're
over there.
comparable to Atlanta.
Definitely. Very comparable to Atlanta. Did a lot of moves this offseason. Obviously a newer, fresh coach trying to fully catch their footing and then take care of business that end. And then you get a cupcake or a layup against the Broncos for us and obviously the Panthers for them. And then hitting this week 3, I know a lot of us Steeler Nation and kind of just people in general really freaked out about this schedule, and obviously the back half is a gauntlet. We own the AFC North, but the back half is a gauntlet. And but the way the beginning of the season is starting to stack up, obviously it's easy to say this with W's under our belt, but this is the perfect beginning task to get our toes wet, come back to the crib, secure a win, and then obviously we got some big games down the stretch, Cowboys at home, a few more like that before the bye week. But the way we're acclimating into the season, I think we're fully catching our groove, catching stride, and I think that this could be a game where shit starts to click for us.
Yeah, we're gonna learn a lot about the Steelers, and like it is truly that's another similarity between Chargers and Steelers. Even the schedules looked a lot of the same, so I feel like even a Charger fan would admit, yeah, we're gonna learn a lot about our team, and as Steelers fans, we're gonna learn a lot about our team. Truly, I think this game has like all the makings of like 20-23 fourth quarter type game. You know what I'm saying? So
field goal determined kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously that's kind of where we're laying, but to tap in a little bit further, we got a couple of key matchups that I think are going to be important moving into this one. Obviously, we know what our defense is in T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith as our front seven, but what do they got on their trenches side on that offensive part?
Yeah, I mean, they got some all-pros, all-pro caliber guys. I mean, so the Chargers' first-round pick was Joe Alt, rookie, but he is, they never gave a rookie of the year to an offensive lineman, but like dude could like low-key win it. Then you got Slater, Rashad Slater, for the Chargers. So you'll have Joe Alt with T.J. Watt, best on best, and then Highsmith rushing versus Slater. So our front seven versus their O-line will be kind of the key. Because like you said, Harbaugh, he's taking the same formula from Michigan.
Transferred
run
it to
first,
the NFL.
and yet exactly.
And look, he just won a championship. So again, if those who hadn't seen it, he was asked about how you view this upcoming matchup against the Steelers, and he said nothing but respect. They have an aura to their the way they approach the game and things of that sort. And so obviously it's flowers given, flowers received. I think Tomlin had nothing to say about respect for him, obviously coming out winning that natty last year. But let's see how it transfers into the NFL. Obviously they've had pretty good start. But again, I'd like to go back to the O-line matchup. I would be curious to see, we don't have to pull it up now, but just food for thought, TJ Watt against rookies, what that overall matchup would be, because I think TJ ought to be licking his chops. Yes, there's high pedigree with this guy, but you mean to tell me anyone in the college football realm is stacking up anywhere to the talent that TJ is going to be bringing?
TJ's trying to give this guy his welcome to the NFL moment.
Yes, and that's going to be said if that guy goes on podcast down the road and he's like, "What was your welcome to the NFL moment?" When TJ pancaked me day after day after day that one game. So fingers crossed that can be the case. But obviously, I like TJ matched up with a rookie, although he has high pedigree.
Yeah.
And then again, obviously, Russell Wilson still suffering with that calf injury. I'm getting to the point, man. If Justin Fields can secure this ball game for us, will we ever see Russ touch the grass?
Probably not. I think that's the overwhelming consensus right now on ESPN. The murmurs are getting louder. It's just Tomlin cares too much about the dubs.
Oh yeah.
At this point, bro, you're 3 weeks in, and if he piles up another win, and in order to win this game, we're gonna have to actually put up pretty good points.
Yeah.
Considerable
Gotta
points.
be answering.
Yeah. So at this point, man, it probably won't even be a discussion. What I'm concerned about is how we win this game. And that's primarily going to start off with we have to disrupt their run game, because right now they're first in rushing yards. J.K. Dobbins right now. Jake, thank God, bro. Baltimore got rid of J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah. They could have kept their trenches all built up with the running attack they're trying to get going. But
so that'll be the big thing, because they have a guy, bro, Justin Herbert. If you don't know, that's my favorite quarterback to watch in the NFL. I think he throws the prettiest ball there is. But right now they're not utilizing him like a guy. They're keeping him as in their back pocket, trying to start a run game, which I respect. They're taking they don't, because even in the games where Herbert threw for 400 yards last year, they were still losing.
Yeah.
So they're starting to realize we got to win different ways. We actually got to develop a run game of some sort. So it's interesting to see them start to transition, because they used to have Mike Williams, Keenan Allen.
Again, that's the thing that not to cut you off,
No,
but obviously their rushing attack is very exceptional. But if we look at the weapons last year to this year against the Chargers, he has a lot fewer people to throw the ball to. And it's, again, very comparable kind of situation. You have maybe a definitive one on the team, but again, depth or 2 to 4 is kind of the same kind of stacked talent. So I think it'll be a good matchup. Obviously, I think Fields needs to do a bit more things to go out and win because of him. And again, I think Arthur Smith and Tomlin have maybe gotten together and have thought, okay, we've seen how it's handled. We're hearing, maybe they don't listen to the noise. I really don't think they do. But they're going to probably let the reins up a little
Mm-hmm.
on Justin Fields, knowing that, like you said, it's going to be a high pedigree offense. We're going to need to maybe make up some points here and there. So I think the chain gets a little looser for Justin. Hopefully he can go out there, sling it a little bit more than
That
what we have
hometown
been
juice
seeing.
is going to be flowing,
That's
bro.
what I'm saying. And just if the Acrisure and the defense alone is going to hold it down on defense.
I got
think,
one. One thing real quick is it's in basketball. It's the same thing they always say. Role players play different at home.
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking like a Van Jefferson guy. Think of like any of like your small like role players, like maybe like a Jalen Warren guy, Calvin Austin,
give us,
or Darnell Washington.
Yeah.
Role players just like in basketball. It's the
Connor
same thing for
Hayward.
football. Yep, exactly. In football, bro, it's the exact same. At home, bro, you got that extra juice. They're cheering you on out the tunnel. When you get subbed in at any time, they're like, okay, all right, I see you, Calvin.
Yeah.
So when they come in, man, there's an extra juice. Like, it's the same thing with basketball. Like that guy don't be hitting threes.
Yeah,
like, what's he doing?
And then he'd be tapping.
Exactly.
Doing
So
all that. There's
a different confidence that comes with it. And that's what I'm excited to see, because I think it'll also translate in quarterback play. I think Justin will have that confidence.
I think he's already been gaining the confidence, honestly.
But now he's at home, and he'll be the last one to be introduced. They're going to say number 2 from Ohio State, and the place is going to go crazy.
I want to see the camera pan to Russ at that. Not actually. I mean,
he's going to be clapping in his pads.
Yeah. Hey, but obviously the juice is going to be brought. I just hope that we can keep the stadium electric from kickoff to the clock hitting 0, because we don't want to give any sort of reason to let the air be deflated or aired out of the stadium early. We need to keep Acrisure rocking from start to finish, and I think they will do that. Obviously, there just seems to be this is different than last year, man. And again, there's something here that I feel I haven't felt this confident about a Steelers team in a while. I always would have thought back. Obviously, you have the aspirations of wanting to win these games against these Chargers and things of the sort. But in the past, I was always fearful going into these games, whereas now I feel like we're almost being feared, which is a good switch up. And
I mean, we're favored. I didn't expect us to be favored.
I didn't
honest.
either. And again, I don't know if I like that, because the Steelers always, Tomlin always chip on the shoulder. All right, you want to see what I got? And we always tend to deliver in that. So hopefully our heads don't get too full and we're able to keep a track and finish the job. But one last thing before we get in here. I know we were talking about some offenses and nemesis. Our boy out of Michigan getting to face his head coach only a year after getting drafted to the Steelers.
Second round pick. Third round pick. Third round pick.
Roman Wilson coming back. Looks like he's been a full participant in this week's of practice. Do you think he can be enough to push the needle or unlock a certain element to this offense that's just going to give a little extra spark or push us over that hump to get the dub?
I think that he could. Now, whether he will, that's the question to be answered. But he's a perfect complement to what we need in our offense, which is an additional separator. I'll see if I can retrieve this thing I saw on Twitter yesterday. But at the moment, aside from Carolina, the Pittsburgh Steelers, as far as gain separation from wide receivers, so the average separation a receiver is getting from their cornerback that's playing against them, we're the second lowest in the NFL. Right now, GP is freaking getting separation on every route, but every other wide receiver right now just doesn't have that separation ability. So the reason why the reason I'm bringing that up is, with Roman Wilson being slotted to make an appearance, you get a guy that's shifty, a short, quick guy that can get separation and has reliable hands, at least in college. That could really, truly, I said to you last episode, could Roman Wilson, say Roman Wilson even pans out 75%, I feel like he could be the difference between a playoff victory and just or playoff run, or just one and done. So
yes, definitely.
I think it'll be interesting.
Again, haven't seen him touch the field with the Steelers gear on, but just off the comps, how he was in college, the physicality, man, the heart to the game. I feel like he could. I don't even want to throw him in the same stratosphere now, but he gives Hines Ward vibes, or at least that's what I came. He's not going to be the selfish guy. If you want him to block 90% of the time and go for a route 10% of the time, he's still going to do it with a smile on his face. So very excited to see his debut. Just fingers crossed that he can get us over it, and honestly, just hope to get us a dub here. So I know we were kind of flirting, saying some things back and forth earlier, but score predictions, how you feel like this one goes down?
I'll say 24-23. Pittsburgh.
Oof. How does it roll out? A game-winning field goal, or do you
Yeah,
think?
I say more or less. I think it rolls out. I think this is literally a coin flip. I think both these teams, like previously discussed, are at the same level of skill and talent. I think game's going to be decided in the fourth quarter. In order to win this game, I'm banking on Justin Field has 2 to 3 throws
We need
that
it.
we say, wow, we
Yeah,
needed that.
yeah.
And this will be fun too because I think this will be the first game where I genuinely feel like we're going to have to play in the clutch.
Yes.
Like there will be a clutch play where we say that catch by Freiermuth or that throw to Pickens in the fourth with 3 minutes left. That was the game that won it. But
Most
thoughts? What do you
definitely.
think?
Yeah, again, I think it's not going to be a crazy shootout going 35, 39, anything like that. I got us falling right at 20 to 18. Steelers taking care of business. I think
Okay.
we're going to have a few flashes. I want to say Najee gets in the end zone with a quick goal line rush, and then Justin's got to continue to throw and make some touchdowns. So I think either GP or some of these other sneaky cats, Calvin on a deep ball, I can see just some explosive play getting us in there as well, and then a couple of field goals off of Boz's toe. But again, very close. Don't think this is going to be one that you can kick the feet up and just be comfortable all the
No.
way through, although I wish that it could be. But set it, projecting the season, I had us at 3-0, and I'm not switching up now. I think we take care of business and get it done. But we will be here recapping it Sunday night after the game is wrapped up. But anything further before we get out of here?
No, I'm excited to see it.
Hey, well, here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Let's take care of the Chargers.